Hi, I'm Emily Johnson, CEO of the new Lenox Chamber of Commerce. I'm joined today by Dr. Scott Tingley, Superintendent of the Lincoln-Way Community High School District 210. Dr. Tingley, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that you could take some of your time to sit down with us and talk about what's going on with District 210.
Sure.
The district has overcome several financial challenges that were well documented.
Sure.
Can you tell us, where is the district at today, and how did you get there?
It's a good question. We, obviously fall of 2015, very difficult decision was made. However, the correct decision to close a high school. And I give credit to the board at the time to step up and recognize the financial difficulties the district was in. So since closing that school, the school board since that time have been very diligent in their oversight and guidance as we've worked our way through our financial challenges. I would point to three indicators. First being short-term borrowing, tax anticipation warrants. We were at a position of our low point here in the last 6 years where we borrowed over $30 million to operate throughout that fiscal year. That's over a third of our operating budget had to come from borrowing, whether tax anticipation warrants or borrowing from our insurance fund. Currently, this year we'll borrow about $12 million. Next year, it'll be significantly less, and in 3 years from now, we won't be borrowing at all. So that's one measure. With those tax anticipation warrants, back in 2016, we carried over $20 million in short-term debt from one fiscal year to the next. So we started the year $20 million in debt. This past year, this past summer, we carried over $1.7 million in debt as compared to 20. Next year, we won't carry any, and then obviously, as long as we stay on course, we won't. Second indicator would be the measurement from the state of Illinois. As we know, in 2013 we were on the financial watch list. That's the bottom quartile in the state of Illinois. Last year we were able to get back up to early warning, and now we're just in financial review. So we're back in the middle to the top half of all districts in the state of Illinois, which is significant. And then
that's impressive in that amount of time.
Yes, we turned it around a little bit quicker, but we've stayed very diligent on our path. The third then would be our bond rating from Moody's. During the time, because of our liquidity issues and our short cash on hand and some of our budgetary challenges, we were downgraded to junk status. That means our bonds are virtually not tradable. So we are back up to investment grade, Baa3. I would anticipate another upgrade here this winter as we may look forward to refinance some of those bonds in the future. So I think those three measures indicate that the plan that was put in place by the board has continued to move the district in the right direction financially.
And can you explain a little bit why the bond rating is so significant and what impact does a bond rating have?
Well, now that the day-to-day finances have been stabilized, the next focus of the board is our long-term debt.
Okay.
We have a significant amount of debt outstanding from the building of Lincoln-Way West and Lincoln-Way North High School. Now, with our current structure, the bonds were structured that the amount to be paid would grow over time, because the assumption was a growth in the EAV, continued growth in the community, and then that increase would be shared by more businesses, more individuals.
And that's not what happened.
It's certainly not what happened. So then that puts that existing burden on the current residents and current businesses. So we must be investment grade to have the opportunity to go back and refund or refinance some of those bonds. In fact, the district over the next 3 months will be refinancing about $23 million of debt to mitigate some of that initial increase. Then we'll have plans in place to address the rest over time so that the increase is more manageable to the taxpayer.
Are there any other options to help manage the long-term debt?
Well, one that is being explored at this time would be the selling of Lincoln-Way North.
Okay.
If we were able to sell the building, it would allow the district the opportunity to defease or pay off portions of those bonds while throughout the process of restructuring to level out that payment. We've had discussions with the state of Illinois. That's a potential option. I think that would be I think that would be an asset to our community if we were able to work with the state police or emergency management services, Department of Human Resources, Natural Resources. They've all come through and toured the building. We've had engineers and architects from the state of Illinois now tour the building. They have all information pertaining to the building, and it's a possibility. If they were to put together a proposal, that would be brought to the school board. The school board would then work with our municipal advisor to determine a cost-benefit analysis. What benefit would that be to the taxpayer? And then also work with our bond attorneys for the legality of that sale. Now, because it's a government entity, my assumption would be it would work. So that's something that we are exploring currently.
It sounds like you guys are really looking at every option and really staying on top of it. So
we're trying.
Kudos to you guys on that. Let's talk about academics.
Yes.
So on the academic front, the district continued to perform. The Illinois State Board of Education recently released their annual state report cards.
Yes. So once again, so the second year in a row, all three high schools have received exemplary status, which is the top 10% in the state of Illinois.
That's amazing.
So that would be based upon SAT, freshman on track, college and career readiness, graduation rate. So we're pleased by that. Those are all indicators of student success. And to be in the top 10% 2 years in a row, all three schools, is something we're proud of. I think it's important to note we are the lowest spending high school in the Collier counties. So expenditure per pupil, we are the lowest in the Collier counties. We are the 20th most economical high school district in the state of Illinois when it comes to expense per pupil, while obviously continuing to achieve academically at a very high level. So something we're proud of.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Safety, as I'm a parent, I know a lot of the residents in the area have chosen, in the district, have chosen this area specifically because they have children. So it's always on the forefront of parents' minds, and especially with how the world is today, it's the safety of the students. What measures has Lincoln-Way taken to ensure the safety of students and staff over the years?
Well, I guess that's why one of the reasons it was so crucial for us to stabilize our finances. We've been able to reinvest in capital projects between $3 and $4 million each of the last now it will be this fourth year coming up, to reinvest in the facilities. And a major investment has been in the area of security. One of the things we did do, we put in a card access system to get into the building at all times. So the keys on the outside are gone. The do not duplicate on the back of the key didn't always work. So we have we have a card access system, so we know who's coming, we know who's going. We can shut cards off at any time and monitor who's in and out of the building. Another thing that we did over this past summer, every classroom door in all three buildings was rekeyed so that any teacher can utilize their key to lock the door from the inside. So if I'm a science teacher, come to the front of the building to get my mail, and I'm going back to science, we have an emergency lockdown, emergency in the building. I'm able to grab students, jump in an English classroom, and lock it from the inside. So one key
amazing.
will lock any door. That came from recommendations from different safety councils on lockdown procedures. The most important thing is able to get students in the door, lock the door in a secure location. So now we can do that at any building. We put in brand new camera systems both at Lincoln-Way East and Lincoln-Way Central. We are currently upgrading the system at Lincoln-Way West to match those two. So significant upgrades in our security camera systems. We have secured entrances at all of our buildings now. During the school day, the only way to get in is to buzz through the main office. You're buzzed into a holding area, then into the building. Secured monitored entrances in the morning. In the olden days, every door was open.
Right, I remember being in high school, you could just walk in any door.
Walk in and out any door.
Yeah.
Now there
Not
are
at Lincoln-Way.
There are 2 or 3 entrances that students can access and arrive to school. Each entrance is monitored by an administrator or a student dean. So those are some of the measures that we've been able to put in place to upgrade our security.
I love that. It sounds like you guys are, it's very apparent that you have the student safety and at the forefront of your thinking.
Number one priority, it's obviously, as these incidents occur throughout the country, becomes a very, very nervous situation for parents, students, and teachers. So something we're trying to stay ahead of. One thing we have put in place that probably is most important is the communication between students and adults. We stress to our students, if you hear something, say something. Go to an adult. If you fear that a student or someone is going to harm themselves or others, please share that information. We have an anonymous web page where students can report that. They hit submit. It goes directly to administrators. At that point, administration can intervene. They can contact authorities, next step, whatever may be the case. So that's something we continue to discuss with our students, is that communication piece.
I think that open forum and allowing them to submit concerns is putting some power into their hands so that they can be an active part of feeling safe in their school.
Certainly.
That's great. So with all of the new and exciting things that are happening, how can the community keep up with what's going on at Lincoln-Way? How can we stay informed?
Well, I think that with
other than watching this program.
Yeah, this program, obviously, social media,
Okay.
Facebook, our website, www.lw210.org, is a good place to catch up on all our news features. That's right down at the bottom. But that's, I think, the best place is to go to our website, and then you can link to all of our other social media outlets.
Awesome. I know that I follow you guys because you guys have so many exciting things going on, like the marching band and all sorts of exciting things.
We have outstanding students, outstanding staff. It's a great community to work and live in, and I find myself very fortunate. We are on a good track, and now we must maintain and continue. I think it's important that we monitor and follow the finances, but at the same time continue to strive for that academic success that we've been known for.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by to catch up with us, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
sharing.
for having me. Thank you.